All right, good afternoon. Your Pratte Pack. Propel. That's right. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Before we start working out. Been at it since very early this morning on the computer, putting together a lot of research for tonight's shows at the Beaver train station. More on that. But this is what's happening as far as our world. CNN, CBS Radio, the award-winning KDK Radio Newsroom, and of course, later tonight, KDK TV2 and the CBS Evening News as well. CNN had a live chat. 100,000 people tuned in with various reporters on the Korean issue. And it really all started, this issue, because of the July and the 2 intercontinental ballistic missiles that were fired, and then, of course, the following statement that they could strike the U.S. South Korea, Japan, and China are really the countries that are concerned about Kim Jong-un. South Korea has been living under threats for 35 years, 35 miles from Seoul, with weapons on the DMZ that could cost thousands of lives. And, of course, the 72nd anniversary bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You don't want war, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said. There must be another way. And China, kind of between a rock and a hard place, the country seems divided over the issue. Sanctions, $1 billion against North Korea. So what does all of that mean? A lot of people are still trying to figure it out. Guam is the closest U.S. territory to North Korea. It is also the home of the Anderson Air Base, from which the U.S. has been showing force by launching B-1 bomber missions over the Korean Peninsula. And this story trending just a little while ago, North Korea planned to fire 4 missiles near the U.S. Pacific territory of Guam. Will be ready for Kim Jong-un's consideration in days. Now, these missiles would be fired over Japan, about 18 to 25 miles off the coast of the tiny island, if the plan is implemented. Anthony Scaramucci's short-lived time as White House Communications Director is going to be up for conversations. ABC's This Week Sunday with the great George Stephanopoulos. And then Monday, late night, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on CBS. Reuters, this just in recent hours. The entire story is coming out. Washington imposed sanctions on 8 Venezuelan officials for their role in creating an all-powerful legislative body to be loyal to President Nicolas Maduro. The sanctions targeted politicians and security figures, but stopped short of actions against the country's vital oil and energy industry that would cripple their already struggling economy. Pirate news, Justin Verlander, 1 hit over 8 innings. Bucks lost 10-0 to Detroit. They're still 3.5 back. It's Detroit this afternoon, Comerica Park, a little after 1, 93.7 The Fan. Garrett Cole gets the start right now on TNT and CBS throughout the weekend. Quail Hollow, the PGA Championship is underway. Now, tomorrow, I'll be in for Mike Pintek. We're going to be talking a lot to you via the phones in the first couple of hours of the program, all about the North Korean situation. So put your thinking caps on and get your opinion ready, because I will hit the air running tomorrow a little after noon at News Radio 1020 KDK, in for my friend Mike Pintek. Now listen, in the 2 o'clock hour, whatever you're doing, try to make plans. Listen online, in the car, at home, even if you're allowed at work for a little bit, because I've got Dave Polovich, God Said, Man Said. He's been on with me many times before, but we're bringing him to the Mike Pintek Show in prime time Friday afternoon. Give you a lot to think about heading into the weekend. This is a man who is very powerful in his faith, very successful entrepreneur, and he has an amazing opinion about faith, family, and life at God Said, Man Said that you do not want to miss. And, you know, I've often thought the religious right, separation of church and state. So can you be political? And if you are a Christian, how should you be looking at any election or what's happening in Washington right now? Some of the things we're going to be talking about, you can find at God Said, Man Said. The conservative spirit of Jesus, the right-wing wall, not to keep people in, but to keep left-wing America out from taking their tomatoes. Very interesting stuff. Also, split down the middle and choosing sides. Something else you can find at God Said, Man Said. The historic events that did happen that could have made it possible to have had our country split right down the middle. Half right-wing, the other half left-wing. And Jesus in politics, and I was just listening to it moments ago. And if you get a chance, it's under 10 minutes, God Said, Man Said. Jesus in politics. Based in America, God Said, Man Said. Democrats and Republicans, right? But not a party position, God Said, Man Said. So what does it mean? Can you still vote if you don't really have anything in your heart but Christianity, meaning not really any political views. How should you look at an election and how should you look at politics in the country? Really amazing stuff. Now, tonight, Beaver train station, here's what we're going to be doing. Rick Granati will drop by. We're going to talk about how the Beaver Area Heritage Foundation is going to celebrate their 50th anniversary with a big Saturday and a musical performance by the Granati Brothers. Great food. Just a few tickets remaining, so you better hurry to the station, pick up the phone, make the call, or track one of the Granati Brothers down. Wonderful food, wonderful show by them, but also all sorts of memorabilia, music, and stuff that you just can't believe from 1967. And I'm going to be back in a few moments because you see, when a couple of guys who like to talk get together, and especially Italians, I would never be able to get to all the information I put together. And I really want to take a little extra time to give thumbs up to Mr. O'Leary and Mark Miner and everyone at the Beaver train station. So we're going to do a little bit more to tie in that 1967. And of course, 50 years later, the Beaver Area Heritage Foundation still going strong. The P&LE freight station, their museum, the train station, which has become an amazing venue for all sorts of great events. So Rick Granati and I will be there tonight. And also, not to be outdone, the great Jim Equals of the Beaver Allegheny County Times will drop by. And you know, don't forget them folks. Hey, they got the football tab coming soon. High school football is here. They focus on high school sports as good, if not better, than anyone in the country, I believe. And I have worked and read a lot of the best. And I have a lot of respect for the Beaver Allegheny County Times. So Jim Equals is going to join me tonight. We're going to talk about the Pirates. We are definitely going to talk about the PGA Championship. But also the Steelers, Martavius Bryant back in the mix. We'll talk about the Steelers. And we're also going to talk Pitt football with him as well. One other sports note trending, the great Jaromir Jagr, who I have much respect for, 45 years of age. Doesn't seem like he's going to get a contract in the NHL. So what's Jags going to do? He's just going to take his skates to Europe. And that's okay. He's a great hockey player, and I've always been a big fan of Jaromir Jagr. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you in just a little bit in the Pratte Pack Gym.